not just a sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. You know, this is what is so beautiful about Trump winning in such a massive way in this election here in the United States, is that when America speaks, the world listens. You know, this is an absolute direct result to Trump winning and, again, just absolutely destroying Kamala and the radical left agenda in America. Well, believe it or not, Canada is actually much worse than the United States when it comes to social liberalism. A lot of people don't realize that, but Canada is really, really, really liberal, and they are proud of it. And even Justin Trudeau couldn't make Canada happy. That's because the radical left agenda, which Justin Trudeau is absolutely a part of, only destroys. It does not build. It does not actually love, or it doesn't actually accept you. It doesn't tell the truth. There is no positive. There is no good thing behind the radical left agenda. And you've seen Canada be absolutely destroyed under the leadership of Justin Trudeau. You've seen over the last several weeks Justin Trudeau's cabinet resigning, a lot of them. Hopefully, Canadians are waking up, and we see a blowout in Canada like we did in America. Here's a little taste of what Justin Trudeau had to say during his resignation speech. Hey, real quick, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know, when you like this video, you're not agreeing with the insanity. You're helping push this video out to more people to help spread the truth.
My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians. I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians.
On a completely unrelated note to Justin Trudeau talking about how he is motivated by the best interests of Canadians, here's a video of Klaus Schwab.
So that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young noble leaders of the world economy.
Dang! That is so. Here is the Schwabster literally admitting that more than half of Trudeau's cabinet are under the not just proponents, not just supporting, but directly controlled by WEF and this whole globalist NWO insanity. This is the radical liberal agenda here. Is they are wanting to lead into this radicalized control of the globalist elites over icky people. So when Trudeau says that he's motivated by what's best for Canadians, that's a bull-faced lie. We all know that. You know, a strong Canada is actually good for America. And even better for Canada is a strong America. Like I said, when America speaks, when America's strong, the world notices, the world listens, and the world gets in line. And we see that America has the potential to be strong again. And these are the repercussions reverberating throughout the rest of the world. And it is a wonderful thing to see somebody that is controlled by the globalists like Trudeau just be decimated and have to resign in absolute shame. Now, Trudeau's been a disaster for the Canadian economy, of course. He was one of the worst, absolute worst out of all world leaders of the just being a co-fraud monster and the lockdowns and destroying people's lives over all the co-fraud stuff. You remember the Freedom Convoy in Canada where he destroyed people's lives, truckers' lives. I mean, one of the biggest parts of the heart and soul of any economy is truckers. You know, those who get goods from one point to another so that you can buy them in a convenient way. He made them the enemy. And, you know, you saw him freezing bank accounts of citizens, private bank accounts. And it's just absolute authoritarianism at its finest. Trudeau also arrested Christians for praying outside of abortion clinics. Justin Trudeau is the ultimate example of how the liberal mind disease just utterly destroys. In fact, to see more about this, and I even show Trudeau, go watch They Are Paving the Way for Antichrist. This is a video I just put out not too long ago, and your mind will be blown by what world leaders, even the king and the Pope, have to say about this one world order. Now, of course, like every good world leader, you got to have your pronouns on your Instagram page. This is what makes you a laughing stock. World leaders do not respect Justin Trudeau. They know they can control him. They know they can bully him. He's like one of those creepy people that like wants to be bullied. And he's tried posting on his Instagram page over the last several weeks, trying to make himself sound more relatable, to try to save his leadership, to try to get out of resigning. Again, this has been reported for weeks. Now, here's some examples of how radical Justin Trudeau is. Just a few examples. And there's actually even worse ones than these. But, and then I'm going to show you who could potentially be the next Prime Minister of Canada and what Justin Trudeau thinks of him. He mentioned him in his resignation speech, and I'll show you what he had to say about him in just a second. But listen, this is just an example of what Justin Trudeau and just this mind disease that liberalism does. Stuff like this.
Is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind. Because it's more inclusive.
There we go, exactly. Yes, thank you.
We can all learn from each other.
Here's Trudeau raising the ugliest flag you've ever seen in front of their parliament or whatever. Just, of course. Of course.
Never fear, the Queen of the North is here. That's me.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but this man's name is Pierre Poilievre. He is potentially the next Prime Minister of Canada. He has a very good chance. He's one of the leaders of the Conservative Party. Now, when you say Conservative Party, it's kind of hard to describe the Conservative Party in the same way that you would describe the Conservative Party in America. It's sort of, I mean, it's along the same path, but again, it's vastly different than conservative politics in America. I'm going to show you a little bit about him in just a second, but this is what Trudeau had to say about Pierre becoming the next Prime Minister.
But I'm wondering if you feel that another leader will have more success than you will at beating Pierre Poilievre in the next campaign.
Pierre Poilievre's vision for this country is not the right one for Canadians.
Oh, okay.
Stopping the fight against climate change doesn't make sense. Backing off on the values and strength and diversity that Canada has always worked to pull itself together on is not the right path for the country. We need an ambitious, optimistic view of the future. And Pierre Poilievre is not offering that. And I look forward to the fight as progressives across this country stand up for the kind of vision for a better country that Canadians have always carried, despite the tremendous pressures around the world to think smaller, to veer towards the hard right, and to be less ambitious for what we can be and do as a country when the world really needs Canada.
That's not an answer, though. Yes or no? Is there another leader that...
Absolutely.
Oh, man, you got to love, after he spews all that nonsense, the reporter goes, But that's not an answer. Yes or no? This is Pierre. There's actually, there's a lot that, they compare him to, he's the Trump of Canada, essentially, is how they make Pierre out to be. But this is one of the more viral videos of Pierre that happened when he was pressed by a leftist journalist.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly you tap
What?
very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Exactly.
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type
I
of
almost never
ideological
talk about.
thing.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways, a lot
I
of
don't
people
really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
Okay. I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me
Okay.
a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
Okay.
is.
Now, obviously, I mean, I don't know a ton about Pierre, but, he's the leader of the Conservative Party. Again, conservative politics in Canada is quite a bit different than conservative politics in the United States. So you can't think of them as apples to apples. But this is the man that is potentially the next prime minister. And it would be a vast change from what Canada has been under for many, many, many years. But here's a little bit of his response to Trudeau resigning.
Good day. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that Carbon Tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years. All voted for or actively supported Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians helped pass catch-and-release bail and house arrest for the most rampant reoffenders. Policies that increased violent crime 50%, gun crime 116%, and hate crime by 250%. So given that Liberal MPs and leadership contenders unanimously supported everything Trudeau has done, why dump him now, right before an election? Have they had a change of heart? Is it because they feel guilty that they doubled housing costs, hiked taxes, unleashed crime, broke immigration, forced a quarter of the population into poverty? No. They continued supporting Trudeau when he did all of those things. No, their only objection is that he is no longer popular enough to win an election and keep them in power. They want to protect their pensions and paycheck by sweeping their hated leader under the rug months before an election to trick you and then do it all over again.
So there's a taste of who could potentially be the next leader of Canada. And if you're in Canada, I want to know your thoughts on Pierre and how you feel about Justin Trudeau resigning. I just talked about Matthew chapter 15 in a recent video, but again, I have to bring it up here because it applies. This is Jesus responding to his disciples when they came to him, look at verse 12, and told him that the Pharisees were offended by what Jesus had previously been talking about here, where he called out the Pharisees and even called them hypocrites. Jesus responded to his disciples in saying, "Every plant which my heavenly Father did not plant shall be uprooted. Let them alone. They are blind guides of the blind. And if a blind man guides a blind man, both will fall into a pit. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please, hit that thumbs up button, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.